Hello everybody and welcome to ASL Defender quarterfinals number 2, or technically number 3, but the second broadcast for the quarterfinals. And we have here for you today the third quarterfinals between these two players. Do we have interest for them? Saber? We don't have. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, our first player is going to be the Teal Terran, spawning down the bottom right-hand corner of Nimbus. Representing only himself, he is noobPride. And he's going to be playing against today Green Zerg up in the top left-hand corner, playing for Outset Gaming, Kommatiazo. And of the spawns on Nimbus, I have to say I think Kommatiazo is pretty happy he got these ones, because Nimbus can be really difficult to play out for the Zerg if the Terran's in really either of the other two spawns, because it gives them it gives Terran a very direct access route through to the Zerg third or fourth base. They can do their parade push down and just sort of get a very short rally point going. Whereas in cross positions here, that doesn't really exist so much. Zerg can be a little bit more comfortable taking their third and fourth base. It's still a bit of a challenge because the creep spread for that fourth base is so far away, but it's much more manageable. It's more of a slight disadvantage rather than wow, I don't think I'm ever going to get fourth. But either way, that's thirds and fourths are a little way off for now. It looks like noobPride is just going to bring out looks like 2 Reapers, possibly more, but one's already out up here and one being produced before he throws down his CC. They're not going to scout immediately to Kommatiazo's base, but that Reaper should leave and see, or it should visit Kommatiazo's base next. But it will find 4 Lings and 2 Queens ready and waiting to meet it and to drive it off, sort of deny it getting any damage. It should be able to get the scouting though, just confirm that natural base for Kommatiazo, and yeah, all good stuff. Kommatiazo also went for some relatively fast gas, so his speed is going to be perhaps a little faster than noobPride really expect. You can see a little bit of weak micro going on here. Yeah, the Reaper shouldn't really get a kill. Even on Lings, it's unlikely to get any kills, but it doesn't really matter particularly if it does. 2 Reapers though, you can lose a couple Lings, I feel, against 2 Reapers pretty happily, just because Terran delayed his factory by that much. So yeah, Kommatiazo though actually doesn't lose any Lings at all. One gets down very low on health, but when the Queens come out, the Reapers do have to back off a bit. They're still going to try though, get some damage done. Kommatiazo going up to 3 Queens at least, so this is a pretty safe number. He's going to be able to have 2 Queens available to fight to his ramp, and the other one, a little way off doing injects up in the natural. And yeah, I personally prefer between 4 and 6 Queens as an opener, but I don't know, 3 Queens does allow you to get a little bit more econ in terms of droning, because the extra Queens aren't doing anything. Ooh, actually, speed comes in and the Reapers are going to have to run away, but Kommatiazo doesn't chase. Yeah, it allows you to get in 3 extra drones a little bit faster, because the bonus Queens don't actually grant you anything in terms of injects, but they do help your creep spread out a lot. If you have 6 Lings, your creep spread can be like your worst thing, like it is with me, and you're like, oh my god, am I snoot? It's 6 minutes and it's natural. It's slight segregation, but it's still pretty cool. And like I said earlier on Nimbus, creep spread is pretty much always important in ZVT, but especially so on Nimbus, where the 4th base is so difficult to take. And we see the 3rd base and the lair going down at about the same time. And where's he building lairs? In the main and natural? It is in the main. That's okay. Again, with the positions he's been given, it doesn't matter that much whether he builds it in the main or the natural. Some players do like to, on more conventional maps with like without the in-base natural, they like to build their lair at the natural, because lairs actually give you a bit of extra health, and your natural's more likely to be taking damage than your main. So they build it just for the extra safety and security of having a natural a bit more difficult to focus down. But on Nimbus, it doesn't matter, especially if Terran was in the top right-hand corner. it might matter a bit more because then the drop path is very, very short towards natural, and the natural is going to be taking a lot of damage. Either way, it's not particularly relevant in this game. What is relevant, though, is this Banshee that's making its way across the map and just actually drifting past one of Kommatiazo's overlords now. He also scouted the tech lab with his with an overlord scout. So he already has these spore crawlers ready and waiting. And the Banshee shouldn't be able to get much damage. It's going to try and find an angle. It should be able to pick up... It's going to pick off one drone here. It should be able to sort of get over the gas mining. But now with the Queen coming out as well, it's easily going to be able to drive it off, given the Banshee's already taken a couple shots from the Spore Crawler. So, not much doing there. I think the Banshee, most it can do now really is annoy drones, sort of transferring between the bases and maybe pick off a couple of creep tumors. But, I don't know. It's still something. If it comes, yeah, it comes in when it sees the option. So another drone being picked off, and that's pretty nice. That's really kind of more damage than the Banshee should get done when there's a Spore Crawler there and a Queen as well, sort of roaming around. But Kommatiazo is actually going for not a 1-1 roach time, but he's got getting +1 attack on his roaches and just started a big swell. So I want to see whether he makes more than 10. He's got lots of lava and it is going to go into drones. So just 10 roaches. He could try and send them across the map, but they're really not going to get anything done with... There's a bunch of Widowmines spread out for noobPride. And obviously roaches have to go within Widowmine's fire range to actually take them out. So I don't think he's going to be able to do that much. I think they're really just more for defense than anything. And this Banshee, second Banshee to come in is going towards the third. And it is going to... Oh, actually the Overlord drifted away because it was with the roaches. So second Banshee gets 4 kills and is going to get out. So it can be healed up and just be a bit annoying later on. Not so much for harass, but just with the army this time. Without Kommatiazo having any anti-air, then Banshees put out a lot of DPS either way, whether or not you have anti-air. It's just whether or not they can stay alive to put out lots and lots of damage or just, you know, pop to hide lists. And actually, the units lost tab I've just seen on stream, noobPride currently has a perfect game. Nothing lost just yet, although it looks like Kommatiazo are going to try and change that. 1 Reaper goes down, 2 Reapers, and these roaches pushing in. I don't think they're going to be able to get that much done. There's 3 Banshees here, which are going to kill them off very quickly. 3 Marauders as well, and a bunch of Widowmines. So Kommatiazo loses a couple roaches and pulls out. Well, actually just 1 roach, so... just Kommatiazo kind of poking in and seeing what's going on. I don't know whether he knows about the third base, but he can sort of surmise, given the positioning of noobPride's army and where the Widowmines are, that that's a defensive position for the third base, not a defensive position for the 2 bases on the high ground. But right now, Kommatiazo is actually going to be the one under pressure himself as noobPride is marching across the map. And yeah, Kommatiazo doesn't have much. He's got 17 roaches. But his only anti-air right now is Queens, and the Banshees are going to do quite a lot of damage. 3 Banshees, I believe 2 shots Queens. So, yeah, there's quite a lot going for noobPride here. They're going to come in, maybe 3 shots. And yeah, with a couple of transfuses though, he's still going to be okay at pushing this away, at least for a while. Scan goes down, is going to clean up some of the creep as well. And when this starts receding, that's going to harm Kommatiazo a bit. Kommatiazo going for a mainly roach-based comp though. The creep, or roach hydra in fact, the creep doesn't matter anywhere near so much as it does in Lingbane Muta because obviously with your ranged units you don't need them to close to 0 range. And Kommatiazo actually moving forwards here. noobPride's going to try and bait him back into the Widowmines. One of them does got a pretty decent hit on all these roaches, but he's going to need a bit more than that. And a couple more Widowmines. Yeah, he doesn't get it. Kommatiazo drives him back. noobPride just waiting on the edge of creep, just regrouping and waiting for reinforcements before pushing forwards again. Now hide lists are being mixed in though. That's really sort of the killer, I don't know, killer app for this this type of army, and just the amount of damage they pump out. Well, the roaches are great early game units, mid game units, once you get enough of them, but they start to scale off incredibly hard later on in the game. Whereas the hide lists get so powerful with their DPS they can pump out, especially with the roaches, which are really useful for tanking later on in the game. Oh, we see an interesting upgrade as well. That is extended locust lifetime. What's it called? Enduring locust. So Kommatiazo could be looking into a Stormhost switch here, but actually stepping a little bit too far forward with his roaches. Without the Hydra speed, the roaches, it's very easy for them to all go in by themselves if you're not paying attention to your army, and then the Hydras turn up and there's nothing to tank for them because the roaches all kill themselves. But yeah, I'm interested by the Swarmhost tech. It can be a little bit difficult to go into against, especially with Roach Hydra versus Bio. It complements Snoot style. It complements Lingbane Muta and Swarmhost quite well, because the Lingbane on the Mutalist particularly can run around shutting down drops and just being the mobile part of the force, which sort of complements the Swarmhost immobility but incredible defensive capabilities. Whereas with Roach Hydra, you don't have that extreme mobility that Mutalisk, Lings and Banes have. So I don't know, it's possible that if noobPride spots this, when he sees the Swarmhost, he could just start dropping all over the place and tearing Kommatiazo apart. But we'll have to see. 8 Swarmhosts on the way. I think 8 is a good number to have. Any more will be possibly an overcommitment. He'll be especially vulnerable to what I've just been talking about with noobPride being able to drop. It can be difficult to think on the spot, though. Oh, I need to start dropping all over the place against Swarmhosts. A lot of players will go, okay, so there's Swarmhosts now. I need to start doing transition to mech. Let's get a load more factories. Let's get a bunch of siege tanks out. So we'll see what strikes noobPride. And noobPride actually looking to back out an engagement there. Kommatiazo had a pretty good angle with noobPride's army. It's sort of not really in the line it wants to be. Concave's obviously really important for ranged units, because then you get all your units firing at once. And here the Swarmhosts come, they're going to start sending their waves forwards. Again, I think if Kommatiazo was thinking about Swarmhosts from the start of the game, I would have really liked a 4 to 6 green opener, because creep spread is really important to Swarmhosts. They get, I think, a 50% bonus as opposed to the 33% Locusts, as opposed to the 33% that most Zerg units get. And yeah, it looks like noobPride sees the Swarmhost and he's immediately going to stim and run up to the 4th base, pick this off really, really quickly. So many Marauders in this army. Fantastic choice to deal with the Roach Hydra, and a fantastic choice to deal with buildings. So the Swarmhost really just can't reposition quickly enough to defend this base. But here's a little fight coming in now, and Kommatiazo burrows the Swarmhost. noobPride is going to get as much damage as he's done as we can before the Locusts come in. We're going to have to back off, though. We really can't afford to trade against those Locusts. I think he's taking a little bit too much damage to the Locust as it is. And yeah, I don't know, they trade a little bit, and noobPride eventually does back off. We see the Spire coming in as well. Mutalisk, as I was saying before, complement the Swarmhost really well. If he can add some of those in, that would be fantastic. Broodlords also, I mean, they do the opposite of complementing this. They don't fulfill any of the Swarmhost's weaknesses, but they really, really back up and double down on the Swarmhost strength, which is sieging and just putting out damage. And the Broodlords are a lot more reliable and consistent in doing that. noobPride as well, of course, as we just saw, getting a big Droom drop up, and he's going to be going into the natural. There's only one Spore Crawler there, so this could quickly turn into a base race scenario. But this is a lot of Swarmhosts and a lot of Hydralisks up in this 4th base for the Terran. He does evacuate immediately, but at the same time, big Terran force has just landed, and it's going to focus down the Spore Crawler. No more Modex will die to that. Natural's going to go down immediately. A lot of the tech here is going to fall. The upgrades +3 is never going to finish, and that's actually really, really good for noobPride, because he's currently a little behind on upgrades, and or about even, actually. And yeah, noobPride's going to focus all of this down. The Stormhosts have made their way back, but he could actually try and pick some of these off. But now with the Locusts coming in, I think it's time to lift up and leave. But he can lift up and just boost. He can lift up and boost onto the Swarmhosts and drop on them. Yeah, there weren't that many Hydralisks there, but he just lift up, get out. I think he's done really, really good damage there. Obviously, he had to lift his 3rd base and lost a Planetary Fortress there, but he can just plop it back down again. Didn't really lose any SCVs. He can transfer them back over from his 3rd. Oh my god, I've just seen how much Kommatiazo is expanding. This is crazy. noobPride needs to get a bit of a handle on this pretty soon. I don't think he's going to suspect it, though. Oh, hold on. We've got an engagement coming down over here. The Mutalisk coming in. This is a really, really Marauder-heavy army. As I said before, it's a great choice to deal with the Roach Hydralisk, but really not so good against the Swarmhosts and the Mutalisk. So Kommatiazo is playing really, really well here. Getting up a much bigger Swarmhouse count, and then making up for their weaknesses with the Mutalisks. He's actually going to take out a couple of tanks here. Just one. and a bit of health on some others, but that's really, really good. He can keep the tank count low. It becomes much more difficult for noobPride to have any safe areas on the map against the Swarm hosts. And the Mutalist is going to come into the 4th base for the Terran right here. There's no missile turrets then. They're just being punked down, but it's a little bit too late here. Not many Mutalisks, but enough to threaten the base quite a lot. They are going to get baited onto that Widowmine there, and one of them does go down. There's a lot of Widowmines out and about, but I don't know, yeah, noobPride has to move his entire army back to deal with these Mutalisks. Or he is doing. A couple of Thors starting as well. Thors are fantastic against Mutalisks, but they're one of the worst units to have against Swarm hosts. So this is again the sort of synergy of Mutalisk and Swarm hosts. The Mutalisk force your opponent to build Thors, but a lot of the Mutalisks are going to go down here. Actually, there's barely any Marines in that army, so some of them are going to get out, but most of them do go down. There's, I think, one left. Oh my god, all the Swarm hosts have moved their way up here. They're going to set up all these Widowmines. They're going to... no, the Thor does back out, but they're going to kill the SCVs, kill these missile turrets as well, and trade off quite well against a lot of the Via. A couple of Widowmine hits, actually, though, might kill off a big wave of Locusts, and this leaves the Swarm host really vulnerable. noobPride's getting a surge forward here. A lot of these Swarm hosts are going down. These are really, really expensive units, difficult to remax on, and he can actually even... I'm not sure if he can afford to fight the Locust, but over half the Swarm hosts just went down there. I'm pretty sure that was 10 Swarm hosts killed this game, and I'm pretty sure most of them were just there. Again, he does fight the Locust, and now he can chase down the Swarm host with Concussive Shell. They're not getting away anytime soon. And these Marauders are going to... come on! Keep on going. Okay, so 2 Swarm hosts are going to get away here, but that is still a huge, huge loss for Kommatiazo. He's going to move forwards again. The Thors boost on top of them. Who said Thors weren't good against the Swarm host? What an idiot. But yeah, does noobPride now know? He still doesn't know about these 3 bases that Kommatiazo has taken. I mean, they're not exactly hidden bases. These are sort of where these are more where I think noobPride would be taking his extraneous bases. But Kommatiazo has them. noobPride needs to sort of find out about this and start punching him. Otherwise, Kommatiazo is going to have a lot of production and a lot of potential for economy as he moves his units, moves his drones around. Right now, though, noobPride's stepping out onto creep. The Swarm hosts are just sort of regrouping for Kommatiazo, and noobPride is going to take advantage of this. In fact, there's a lot of Lings out on the map, and those Lings really aren't going to be effective against just about anything in the Terran army, especially not all these Widowmines. And now he moves forward, kills the 4th base off again. And Kommatiazo is just trying to get his forces together and group up and actually get an army that can deal with all this. His Swarm host count is currently sitting at 9, which is not really enough for the competition he's going for. If he was doing it as a supporting thing to Roach Hydra or Lingblade Muta, that would be okay, but he's going for a Swarm host focused thing, so 9 Swarm hosts really isn't going to cut it. But backing out, Swarm hosts can actually chase down because they're on creep, and a couple of medevacs do manage to get away from those Mutalisks. It's getting pretty close. Where are the Swarm hosts? They're up there. They're unburrowed, but they've got Locust spawn. He needs to. Kommatiazo needs to burrow them and start the Locust waves actually going, because he's losing a lot of his Mutalisks, and he doesn't have any ability to actually push this Terran force back. He needs to have the Mutalisk. I mean, ideally, you don't want your Terran opponent to even be getting this far onto the map, because you want your Storm to be kiting back against Swarm hosts the entire time, and he's just not able to do that. The Lings come in. A couple Widowmine hits are going to deal with them pretty nicely, along with the Marauders and Marines. Just do pretty well against Lings, because Lings aren't ranged units, and the Locusts go down, but already, of course, another wave on the way, and noobPride is going to get slowly whittled down by these Locusts. He has to do something to reposition. He can't be in the same place as these Locusts fighting the free units. But again, this is the sort of time where he should pick up, boost over to the Swarm host. There's no anti-air there for Kommatiazo, save 2 Queens. And like a 4 Marauder drop or an 8 Marauder drop would do so much damage on those Swarm hosts. Yeah, I think 8 Marauders actually. Yeah, 8 Marauders would one-shot all the Swarm hosts, and just every 1 second with the Stim Marauders, that's another dead Swarm host. But noobPride is actually instead going to lift up all his medevacs, go for a big drop into the main. This is of course seen immediately by Kommatiazo, but all the Locusts actually get taken out by Widowmine, so these are dead Swarm hosts right now. They're not doing anything for him. He steps a little bit far out, and a lot of the Lings are actually going to be pretty effective in cleaning this up. despite being on 0 upgrades. But noobPride repositions. The Locusts are back up now, and they can deal really, really quickly with this door. He does lift it up though, and backs out a little bit. The problem is noobPride isn't really doing anything while the Swarm Hosts are up there repositioning. He could have been hitting the 3rd base, 4th base, any of the other weird bases down the bottom left-hand corner, but he doesn't know about them. And that's the really, really difficult thing here that he needs to be able to deal with. A few Widowmines are going to go down, but they're going to take out all these Locusts. And yeah, this gives noobPride again an opportunity. These Swarm Hosts, they're dead supply right now. They're not doing anything. And if noobPride can get on top of them and deal with them, now they've spawned another Locust Wave and they're actually doing something. A few Corruptors coming in. They're likely been turned into Broodlords when this Gracious Fire finishes. It has finished, but a lot of them have taken quite a bit of damage. Luckily, they don't die. When they turn it into Broodlords, all the damage will be regen. There's already, obviously, a Thors and a couple of Vikings out for noobPride, so he can take out these Broodlords when they spawn. But the problem is, still, these Locusts, the waves pushing forwards and forwards and forwards, and noobPride is just continually losing just a little bit to them every single time. But he's taken out the natural. He can snipe all the tech, but it's all been rebuilt there. But I mean, the Broodlords and the Locusts combined are going to force him back pretty effectively, I think. Hydeless flank from the back is going to do very, very little. Kills off Marauder maybe. Not even that. And yeah, I don't know. I think Kommatiazo is looking pretty good in terms of holding. But now noobPride walks back, he's going to find this base. This is one of Kommatiazo's big mining bases. And the Swarm Hosts aren't really mobile enough to actually be able to do much about it, do much about saving it. And yeah, that base goes down. If noobPride's actually paying really close attention, he could surmise about the other hidden bases given the way the drones are rallying. But noobPride's going to lose a few more units to these Locusts. And yeah, all the reinforcements have been coming down from the bottom left. So noobPride really should be figuring out about these bottom left-hand bases there. All the drones, when they went on autopilot to return their minerals, they all went down in that direction. So, I don't know, it's a bit of a shame that noobPride isn't going to realise this. If he watches the replay later on, he'll be kicking himself. But right now he's going to stem kite away from these Locusts. Unfortunately, the Thors can't really kite, but, I mean, they've got enough DPS to deal with it anyway. A Broodlord coming in. Oh, actually, some of the Swarm Hosts walk over Widowmines, and 1 or 2 of them go down. Those Widowmites have now paid for themselves like 3 times over. And yeah, there's actually so many Widowmites just scattered around the map. 25 kills on this one, 16 on that one. Although actually probably most of those are Locusts. And yeah, these Thors aren't fast enough to escape the Widowmites, so one of them's going to go down. He's trying to focus down the anti-air so he has some way of saving his Broodlords, but hello, ladies and gentlemen, or more likely gentlemen and perhaps a single lady. But either way, hello, whoever you are, and whatever gender you choose to identify as. We are here on Kingston Station, and up in the top left-hand corner, we have our Red Town player, up 1-0, showing some great play against a tricksy Swarm Host Zerg. It is noobPride. His opponent is, of course, in the other spawn of Kingston Station, which is the bottom right. He's playing in teal, and he's representing Outset Gaming. His name is Kommatiazo. And again, he goes hatch, gas, pool, actually. So I guess this is what he went in the last game, because his speed wasn't quick enough for him to be going pool, gas, hatch, or gas, pool, hatch, or anything like that, and it was definitely hatch first, but I don't know, I think hatch gas pool is a little greedy. The Reapers might get there a little bit earlier than Kommatiazo can have lings out, but I don't know, Kingston Station is quite a long map, so maybe not. And I don't think there are any cliffs for the Reapers to take a shorter path. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I've never really noticed that about Kingston. The Reapers have to go the regular ground unit way. They can't just hop over any cliffs to get in any faster. There's, of course, the cliff at the back of, or the right-hand side of the bottom base and the left-hand side of the top base that they can jump in from unexpectedly. But no, they do actually just, in the rush distance, terms of rush distances, exactly the same. So, yeah, Kommatiazo doesn't quite have any lings out while the Reaper's in his base, but he will have speed up much, much faster, and his lings are just finishing up now. noobPride isn't going for any damage on drones. He's just now going for it, and Kommatiazo does have the lings out, and they're going to push the Reaper away, trying to catch it, but not quite able to. So, yeah, second Reaper for noobPride again, and he sends it across the map. This is a little bit of an interesting choice, because quite often you'll see players get 3 Reapers and use all 3 offensively, which I think is great. You're all but guaranteed a couple drone kills if you go for them. You can get a queen kill if you're a bit lucky. You're definitely going to kill some lings, and you force out a few more lings from your opponent just because you're like, oh, he's like 3 Reapers. I don't know what to do. But 2 Reapers, I kind of preferred sending one across the map for normal scouting and having the second one stay at home just for safety. If 2 to 4 lings slip out, as they sometimes do, and try and harass your wall, harass these SCVs down the natural that are building bunkers and supply depots, then you've got your Reaper that can kill an infinite number of SCVs as long as you micro it. Sorry, an infinite number of Zerglings as long as you micro it. And then you bring the second Reaper along with the Hellion pressure. Of course, this doesn't actually matter for noobPride. It's just a kind of stylistic thing I prefer. The 2 Reapers did manage to kill off a ling that the one Reaper likely wouldn't have. So, I mean, yeah, he's got a bit more out of it than he would have if he'd just left one Reaper at home. And, they're going to try and come in again, but this time the lings have speed. Again, their early speed paying off pretty nicely for noobPride, and he's going to pick up one of the Reapers. Oh, it just gets away. What's the health on that? 1 health, but actually it is going to... Oh, excellent splitting it up of his link by Kommatiazo, and bit of kiting away is going to leave that Reaper with 10 health, but that's not enough for 2 lings. And, yeah, noobPride micros his Reapers as best he can in the situation. I think he did manage to kill off pretty much the maximum number of lings when he's caught in that situation. But again, this is Kommatiazo's sort of slightly fast speed. It's not fast enough to be like really, really heavy commitment to gas early. He just gets 100 gas after he puts down his hatchery, his natural, and gets fast speed with it. And now he's just started going back into gas mining. It looks like we're seeing a pretty similar start from last game. Everything's matching up quite nicely. Third base, lair, some roaches coming down, and just a single Evo chamber. So, yeah, I mean, the single Evo chamber is perfectly fine because noobPride is just going for single upgrades himself. But if noobPride was going for double upgrades in the last game and Kommatiazo was still just keeping on his single Evo chamber, he would have been really behind in upgrades, and that's quite bad. It doesn't matter so much against the Swarm Host because the Locusts are gonna, they're gonna kill something, and if they kill something, that's great anyway. But for Roach Hydra, one of the big strengths is that you can sustain a upgrade advantage versus the Terran almost up until 3-3, whereas normally the Terran has an upgrade, or Zerg has an upgrade advantage, and then at 3-3, Terran steals the upgrade advantages away and gets their 3-3 first. With Roach Hydra, because you quite often mix it, you get the Infestation Pit pretty fast to either get Vipers from Hive or a Infestors. Just because of that, it means you can get your 3-3 upgrades much more economically as well. So it's a really cool style. I really like it. noobPride is going for double upgrade this game, so Kommatiazo is going to be really quickly outstripped in terms of the upgrade game, and noobPride will be training that bit more efficiently. Poking him with some Hellions, and obviously ranged upgrades from Kommatiazo pretty much 100% confirms that it is going to be that similar roach style to before. I don't think he'll get much more damage than last time done. Although actually, no, I changed my mind again. I think he'll get a bit more damage than last time done if he moves out with a bunch of the roaches, because noobPride has loaded up this medevac with Hellions, and I thought that would mind. He's actually committing a bit more to aggression across the map. But on the other hand, I mean, it does get driven away. Kommatiazo, though, his push is a little delayed, and now noobPride sort of knows what's on the way. He sees there's quite a lot of roaches. And the roaches are all still at home, though, because they have to defend against these Hellbats. Hellbat's going to make it out. Boost on the medevac. Takes it away from those queens. Is it going to go to the third base? It is, and there's not as much here. noobPride's gonna be able to drop on top of this queen. You keep the medevac alive though, and it is gonna survive. But Hellbat's come out. I think he's actually just gonna boost out. Whoa! For a second, I thought those Vikings were gonna shoot the medevac, but of course they're not. Hodor. Right now, though, noobPride is sort of racing to get across the map because he wants these Hellbats and Vikings back home for the defense because he really needs everything he has. And yeah, he sees that there's everything moving across the map, and noobPride is actually gonna keep on staying outside his ramp. I'm not sure how well he's going to be able to defend against this if he's not holed up inside his base. But I guess Kommatiazo thinks pretty well because he's going to back off. And that's interesting. If I was Kommatiazo and I saw run in with my lings and saw this amount of army coming out from the Terran, I'd be like, oh, brilliant, more roaches, let's go. But I guess that's just the difference between me and Kommatiazo. Kommatiazo also taking this fourth base, the one I was talking about earlier on. From this position, it's really, really easy to pressure any of the fourth bases Terran might want. So if he takes the mirrored one, that's pretty much best case scenario. You've got a fantastic, really, really short distance to it that your swarm host can exploit. If he takes the one with this medevac, which is just flying over, you've got to spread your creep in that direction. The locusts can reach there, get a couple of shots off and then die, but a couple of shots over the course of, 5 or 6 locust waves is going to break down a planetary, is going to kill off SCVs, kill off depots, just be free damage. And if he takes the one that's behind his natural rocks, it's a similar story. It's a little of a mix between the two. It's slightly shorter rush distance than the top middle base, and slightly longer than the middle base. But anyway, this medevac that we were talking about earlier is making its way into the main base now. There's Hellbats in it. I'm pretty sure they don't have blue flame though. Yeah, so they're going to be cleaned up pretty easily by these Hydralisks. And the medevac picks them up and boosts on out of there. Not too much damage done. And noobPride's been trying to get the drops out, but he really hasn't been able to do any damage with them just yet, which I think is a bit of a shame for him. He hasn't done any kind of big commitment to them, but even so, just to be spending your APM, spending your attention on these drops, you're going to have your macros slip a little bit. So I don't know, it's a bit of a shame for noobPride. But he's getting a big Widowmine count up. They were really, really invaluable in the last game. 7 Widowmines. He's got 2 factories as well, which is a add-on, like a change I really, really like. I like seeing people do that quite a lot. And actually, this time, it looks like we're seeing pathogen glands come out before the during locust. So we're not going to see swarm host just yet out of Kommatiazo. noobPride though, breaking down these rocks, a drop of Hellbats in the natural is going to kill off a few drones, but the drop does get taken out by these Hydralisks. And now Kommatiazo can set up a big concave at the top of this ramp. noobPride shouldn't really be able to get much done here. Kommatiazo also has an overseer, so he shouldn't have too much trouble taking the Widowmines. He's actually going to try and set up a crazy flank, but the units coming down this ramp can get completely annihilated by the Widowmines, but they only really go off on the front line, and now all the Widowmines are gone, and Kommatiazo he still has most of his army. He's got a pretty big army supply advantage, even approaching doubling his opponent's army supply. And Kommatiazo, I mean, there's a big concave for noobPride here, but there's not much on one side of it. The tank coming in is going to help out a lot, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Kommatiazo is certainly winning the fight over on this side, and that army supply advantage, which was doubling, is now kind of close to tripling. But I don't know, these tanks are going to hold the line, especially with all these roaches and Hydralisk damage from the war or the battle they've just been in. And now we see the swarm host come in. A little bit of a safer time to do it. Kommatiazo has just won a fairly decisive battle, taken out reset his opponent's mine count, and it's a lot easier for him to start getting these swarm hosts up and start pushing with them. His creep spread is good enough. I'd like to see him working it a lot more. These 2 full health queens, if they plop down, or full energy queens even, if they plop down like 4 creep tumors each, then he'd be almost immediately just into noobPride's 4th base with his creep. But for now, Kommatiazo is actually going to move around towards the natural. It looks like he's going to try and break down the rocks with his Roach Hydra and then deploy the swarm hosts. But is he? Or is he just trying to get an angle? I don't know. We will find out. And noobPride transferring some SCVs via medevac, which are going to heal up the medevac, and then go on to mining. And yeah, here he comes, Kommatiazo breaking down these rocks. The Locust are going to add their DPS to it, and they're going down pretty quickly, but noobPride has noticed. Nice and fast. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for him to hold this off, although actually he's there a little late, and Kommatiazo can move up the ramp. He's taken out all the forces that were at the top to start with, and now SCVs haven't come off the line. noobPride doesn't really want to take this fight. He's got his Sim City working for him, and the siege tank of course helps out a lot, but it's enough to push Kommatiazo back. He's going to lose this queen as well that he took. No, he's not going to lose this. Okay. At the same time, there's been a big drop coming in on the natural of Kommatiazo, and 3 Marauders, 2 Marines. They're actually going to kill the hatchery of the natural, which is quite a big deal. Are they? He kind of needs... Yeah, come on, focus it down. He's not going to kill it, but he could have focused it down. That's a bit of a shame. Still, another 4 Marauder drop coming in. That'll kill it in like 1 or 2 volleys, and that'll be a big hit for Kommatiazo. Missed Micro on the Swarm Host is going to loosen quite a few Swarm Hosts there. More damage being done by the splash damage as well. But oh my god, there's so many tanks here. 7 tanks right now for noobPride here, and a lot of them are hidden behind this. A lot of them are hidden behind the planetary, so I don't think Kommatiazo really realised that and moved some roaches up and lost a lot of them very quickly. Swarm Hosts are going to go down to splash from the sea tanks, and they really do have to back off. Quite a few of them have already been lost. Here comes another drop coming in. This time looks like it's heading for the 4th base. Or 5th base even, this is. And it's going to boost right on over it. noobPride actually sees it and unloads. There we go. So he's going to take out the gas mining there, which is quite important. A lot of Vipers just finished up. How many was that in total? 7 Vipers. This is a very, very heavy commitment to Vipers. Usually you see 3 Vipers as the first round, and then if it gets to the late game, we'll see a couple more added on, maybe going up to like 7 as a maximum. There's not very many players who build really, really mass numbers of Vipers. Kommatiazo 7 on his first round. Should be all the Vipers he needs all game, but it's good against the Ravens and against the Harass. It looks noobPride does boost and will manage to get away, but he needs to unload at the top of this ramp so he can hold it. And Kommatiazo is going to try and bust up here and do what damage he can. He really needs the supporting energy from these Vipers. If they've been extracting energy for a little while now, they could have been up at 200 and throwing down blinding clouds of ducts on all these tanks up at noobPride's. It looks like they're just going to pretty much kill an extractor. Nope, they're going to kill a hatchery instead. Look at how quickly that energy drains. Come on, Kommatiazo, you need to be a little bit more careful than that, but looks like that's enough. He's just going to try and get up decent, like 100 energy for 1 spell on each of the Vipers and let their regen do the rest. 2 Ravens stepping forwards, or 4 Ravens. Oh my god, there's so many Ravens. noobPride can start thinking about stepping forwards. Kommatiazo, I think, is going to go in for ducts on the siege tanks. No blinding clouds. This allows the Locust to push in really, really well. But all these siege tanks really clumped up. Needs to have a big blinding cloud down on them, because they're the ones doing the big damage. There's 4 or 5 siege tanks, not blinding clouds there. So I think Kommatiazo he's missed them. He hasn't seen them or something. So he loses a lot of his Roach Hiver there. Luckily, none of the Vipers go down, but it's a bit of a missed opportunity there. A couple of Seeker Missiles going to soften up a lot of these Swarm Hosts, kill one of them. And Ravens, back off. No energy left on them just for a minute. But yeah, I don't think this is really going how Kommatiazo wanted. He's allowed noobPride to get up to 5 bases. He's taken some damage from the Harass himself. And I don't know, Kommatiazo really needs to make something happen with these Vipers. A couple of ducks maybe, but Thor's going to do great at zoning him out. So it's a good abduct target, so he gets that. But now noobPride stepping forward to the bottom of the ramp. The Locusts are really, really badly misrallied actually. Oh my god, he doesn't have enduring Locusts. Oh my god, this is huge. This is a really, really bad mistake, Kommatiazo, because having just 10 seconds downtime between the Locust spawns means that again, it's that issue of dead supply. Right now, if noobPride moves down, he's a little bit too late, and the Locusts do spawn. Now he's caught in a bad concave here, with the blinding clouds as well adding to the pain. Battle Cruisers coming in though. I mean, they're not that great against this number of Hydralisks, but oh my god, the Seeker Missiles take out a lot more of the Swarm Hosts. However, do a lot of damage to these Ravens as well, so quite a few of them are going to go down to the Hydralisks. He still can't break that position though. If he had his Vipers with him, and here they are, maybe he can do it. But actually, noobPride, with all his tanks on siege, he'll be okay. Because, again, without extended Locust lifetime, during Locusts, those Locusts just die so quickly. The range is reduced, everything about their effectiveness is just reduced so much. And Kommatiazo pushing up here, trying to get, he's got Blinding Cloud, a good Blinding Cloud on 3 of the tanks. And yeah, that's enough for him to push upwards, but now it's expired. Tanks immediately with a big volley, do a lot of damage to these Hydralisks, but I don't think it's enough. It looks like Kommatiazo might have broken this base, although there's plenty of force here. Still has to back off. And these Locusts, they can just about make it up the ramp and get 2 or 3 shots off before expiring. Whereas if he had extended Locust lifetime, they'd get another 10, 15 shots off before. Probably even not that, because they'd actually die by trading. But more and more Swarm hosts coming in, and this is 100% a big, possibly even game-losing mistake by Kommatiazo not to have extended Locust lifetimes right now during Locust. Because with this many, 14 more Swarm hosts is going to go up to 17 Swarm hosts. The Enduring Locust is going to scale so hard with that many Swarm hosts on the field. He really, really needs them. Infestors are a fantastic addition. If you get Neuroparasite as well, he can start stealing some of the battle cruisers. Fungal generally have like a Raven Viking flock, and so Fungal is what you want to hit to try and actually trap them in place, get Mutalisk into them, get Hydralisks into them. If he hunts Seeker Missiles any of them, you just run them under the Ravens, and then the added splash damage of that combined with the Fungals is really, really powerful. But Kommatiazo moving around with his Swarm host, he's going to try and go for this angle around here. Again, if his creep spread was a little bit better, he could be pushing up this ramp. But noobPride is actually moving out at the same time as Kommatiazo. Swarm hosts are going to be pushing up this ramp. So we'll see whether this turns into a bit of a trade. And actually, it looks like noobPride is going to try and run backwards because all these Swarm hosts are going to be pressuring. Again, look, these Swarm hosts are going to die now rather than they could have had another 10 seconds of attacking that Planetary Fortress, and it would have been so much more damage because they would have been dying about now, and noobPride still wouldn't have been there. But for now, a lot of these Infestors have been found by Hellions, and they're going to start focusing down. Of course, Infestor armored units, they don't take very much damage from Hellions. And Locusts don't really care what they're shooting at. They can do a lot of damage to pretty much anything, especially Hellions. But speaking of Hellions, big run by over in this top base we're seeing right here from noobPride. Finally extended during Locusts coming in. But now they morph it to Hellbats. They might even be able to take out, although the Hydralisks coming in are going to have something else to say about that. They do manage to focus down all those Hydralisks, and yes, there it is. It's wiggling, pulsing. Doesn't it look beautiful? And those Locusts are going to be so much more deadly pretty soon. It's going to be awesome to see. But the Raven's coming in. A big Raven Battlecruiser flock is going to come in, and he needs to land. Come on, big Fungal, all that bio would be so devastating, but he pumps out a ton of Infested Terrans instead. They're going to do quite a bit of damage to these battle cruisers. Morph. Oh wow, fantastic. Abduct actually cancels the Yamato cannon, but there's very, very little anti-air left over, and there's still 3 of these battle cruisers. He is going to back off though, because there's still a fair bit, but only so far as his reinforcements arrive back, and the abduction on the battlecruiser kind of helped, but I don't know, I kind of feel like he could have turned and fought there. There's not almost any energy on the Infestors, so like 1 Fungal goes out, but there's 2 more Fungals on the Infestors, and that's it. And the Yamatos are fantastic for trading with. If he comes in, he's taking damage from Yamato. If he moves out, he's going to take some damage from Yamato. And Blinding Cloud's going to stop that Planetary Fortress from firing. Yes, Blinding Cloud does work on buildings. And noobPride, he needs some more tanks to actually defend against these Locusts. Or he needs his battlecruiser to... It looks like he's actually just going to abandon this base, give up on it entirely. He can maybe take the base over on the left-hand side, but I don't know, it's going to be tough. We do see Corruptors coming in as well, and they're going to be excellent against the battlecruisers. noobPride doesn't really have any... Kommatiazo doesn't really have any great answer to the Corruptors just yet, although Hydralisks and Abduct do pretty well. All the Vipers do get taken out. Nice Yamatos, but he's going to lose a couple battlecruisers for it, which is not good at all. And nice micro on the Corruptor. He's the one which is going to be targeted. And now, yeah, all the battlecruisers go down. These Corruptors just pummeling through them with their bonus damage to massive, and of course their corruption ability used at the end there. And yeah, now there's really very little left on noobPride. His big death Raven Battlecruiser army, that's an army you're not supposed to lose, like, pretty much ever. And he lost it, and now Kommatiazo is pushing through. GG, Kommatiazo evens up the series. Whew. All right then, welcome back. We're on Overgrowth for game number 3, and we've got our 2 players here. Terran Nazarg, the first one, in the bottom left-hand corner, spawning in the yellow this time, and wearing the name of no team but himself. He is noobPride. And he's doing some funky business to our opponent, to our Teal Zerg, who is up here in the top right-hand corner. And he's from Outset Gaming, Kommatiazo. So yeah, the bunker just finished. Really, really nice positioning on the SCV as well, or just by luck, really. It did manage to get sort of in between the 3 minerals before the drone could get it down. And now there's bunker up, safe spot for that Reaper to retreat into. And the Reaper's going to move in, get some, just the 1 drone kill, but moves back, and yeah, Spine Crawler coming down. I'm not even sure this is another reaction. Wow, a second bunker is quite a heavy commitment here by noobPride. So I don't know whether, yeah, there's a 3rd Reaper on the way. So I don't know, with 2 bunkers though, this is going to be very, very difficult to break. 2 SCVs to repair them as well. Queen's going to come out, but there's quite a lot of DPS that comes out of 3 Reapers. I don't think this bunker's going to finish. It's going to get cancelled, but there's still, there's still an SCV that can repair this bunker up. They're actually threatening the hatchery even, and it's going to try and focus down the SCV. The SCV can load into the bunker. Oh no, he's just focusing down the bunker, so the SCV can actually repair it. But it does go down eventually, and bunker's on fire, so it will eventually fall, but at the cost of lots of lings. 10 lings have had to be built, and 12 lings have had to be built. 10 lings have died. Losing one of the Reapers, 2 of the Reapers, is actually quite a big blow because they scale really, really well. 3 Reapers with Hellion harassment is pretty scary, but it looks like Kommatiazo, having built these lings, is trying to use them the best he can. So it's good. I'd like to see him try and pressure, try and deny noobPride's natural for a little while, because he needs to get something out of all the damage he's taken. Because obviously we've seen noobPride sitting at 21 SCVs, and Kommatiazo is actually down at 16 workers. But oh my god, that barracks lifting. This is trouble. This is big trouble for noobPride. There's no wall in. So all these lings are going to stream in. There's 2 Marines, and that is it. Just SCVs. There's no army at all here for noobPride. This could be a crucial game-losing mistake, and the SCVs are going to come off the line, but they can't fight that well against this many lings, especially in this tight choke point like that. The SCVs can't use their numbers, and lings are going to try and run around here and get even more damage, pick off lings. But actually, I think he's just fine just directly fighting the SCVs. A couple more Marines are going to pop out fairly shortly, but there's 4 Marines out right, or 4 army supply out right now for noobPride. 2 Marines on the field and 2 more in production, but that's not enough to fight against this many lings. And Kommatiazo actually bringing, oh no, those are drones. If those were more lings across the map, I think if Kommatiazo had seen that this wall was down and just pumped lings, he could have ended the game. Oh, it looks like we've got some more coming in, but now, having backed out of the base, noobPride has put down that extra supply depot that he so sorely needed, and it looks like he'll be okay against these lings. But yeah, now Kommatiazo has completely turned the tables. 5 banelings are gonna send those tables swinging once again, especially if those Marines stay tight up against the depots. He could lose a couple of them to the banelings, but it looks like the Marine's going to come down. He is going to scout this coming, and that's a big win for noobPride. But don't really. He loses. No, he loses a couple of the banelings. But yeah, he needs 5 banelings to bust down the supply depots because they don't have the DPS. And yeah, losing one of the banelings was quite a big loss there. So I don't know. Kommatiazo is still way ahead, but it's a bit unfortunate. Some slightly sloppy decision making, or sloppy micro maybe, with the sending the banelings on the Marines. And yeah, Kommatiazo and more links streaming across the map, but they can't break into this this main base again. And Kommatiazo is taking advantage of his map control to take the third base, but he's putting on more and more aggression. And the longer he stays in this aggressive stance, the more difficult it's, or the more noobPride has a chance, I think, of coming back into this if he doesn't just lose to the aggression, which is a definite possibility here. There's a lot of lings, and they're going to start morphing up a lot of banelings. There is a bunker at the top of the ramp for noobPride, so that's going to help out a lot. Particularly, it's well positioned so it's not going to die to the banelings, and he doesn't, or Kommatiazo doesn't have enough banelings to bust down the bunker and the supply depot wall. But what he can do is he can bust down the supply depot wall and just ignore that bunker and flood into the main base. So when's he going to go? He goes now. Bunker at the bottom gets salvaged, and these banelings move up, bust down that supply depot wall. One of them's left over, can soften up a lot of SCVs, soften up some. Oh, it comes around. It's going to get a big hit, a decent hit. A couple of the SCVs go down, and more. 9 SCVs now dead, or 9 SCVs left alive. 6 SCVs down to his starting workers. Oh my god, I was right. I can predict the future. Wow. This is pretty special. Someone should tell Atosis. But anyway, here we are. And we are on Deadwing, and it's cross positions. Yes, boys. Gonna say a long game here. I hope you like Storm Hosts. And I know this player does. He's down in the bottom right-hand corner. He's teal. He's Zerg, and he is from Outset Gaming. It's Kommatiazo. And his opponent, not such a big fan of the Storm Hosts, is the Yellow Terran in the top left-hand corner, all the way over there. It's noobPride. And yeah, he's going for the Reaper again. Looks like just the one Reaper this time. Yep. Actually following up with a reactor. I think it's a little interesting. Obviously, it's slightly safer, but he had the gas at that moment to go for a factory. Although, with I guess spending slightly less minerals allows him to get his command center down faster. So that's why he does that. Huh. I never really paid that much attention to turn build orders, but I really should. So stay alert. So yeah, noobPride going pretty economical, just a very, very standard Reaper expand. And Kommatiazo, likewise, gone for his typical hatch gas pool, mining 100 gas for speed and just pulling out. And we should see that speed start right now. Okay, no, he's spent the minerals on Zerglings. Never mind, my oracular abilities are failing me. Speed will start now. Whatever. Kommatiazo has the minerals for speed, but he's not minerals and gas for speed, but he's not starting it just yet. He stopped mining it though pretty nicely. So Reaper comes in. It actually might kill this prod. No, nice pull away there by Kommatiazo. So given that he's actually still not started speed, I have to wonder whether this is a mistake or whether he's actually planning something sneaky with 2-base Mutalisks or something. Or even we've seen things like really, really fast Overlord speed. Your first 100 gas goes into Overlord speed. I believe that's a build, I think Jaedong either used it first or popularized it, certainly, at BlizzCon, I think, during the BlizzCon qualifiers. So you just see everything the Terran's doing. If they're going for some kind of big Hellbat all-in, which is popular on Deadwing, you see it coming. So close on the surround, but doesn't quite manage it. Reapers are just too slippery, and he gets away. But yes, he still hasn't actually spent this gas. This is really, really interesting because he hasn't been mining it. It's not like he's just gone, I get an early gas, I think that's good, and just kept on mining it. He's got the 100. He's set it aside for something, but I don't know what. Yeah, third base coming up pretty fast from Kommatiazo. Obviously, he's seen that there's a natural for noobPride, and Deadwing's a great map for defending 3 bases on. So, yeah, cool stuff there. 2 more gases being taken at the natural, being added on there. But, I mean, what do you need all that gas for? You've got 100 and you haven't started spending any of it yet. I really hope he's not trying to go Lingbane Muta. Okay, no, he's not. There's the Rotron coming down. If he was trying to go Lingblade Muta, not having Ling speed is a pretty big setback. He might realise now because his Lings are pretty slow. Or maybe he's just trying to get away with it. Yeah, no, actually, I was right. I was right. Like when I wondered if he was doing something, his first 100 gas did actually go into a lair. He just got it like way faster than he needed to, and brilliant. He's actually breaking down the rocks here, and this is the position I was talking about before the game. If Terran manages to get a siege tank behind there, it's big trouble. Luckily for Kommatiazo, noobPride isn't actually going for that sort of siege tank drop. I think it would actually hit a little bit faster than this, so it's a pretty good thing. Although it's good practice to break them down just in case, and it doesn't exactly open up any new attack paths. Because firstly, there's another set of rocks on the other side, and secondly, I mean, the Terran's not going to be attacking from there anyway. But speaking of attacking, these Hellions coming in shouldn't be able to find much damage. They see a queen and it pokes them away. But noobPride actually seeing that the Zerglings don't have speed yet is quite important scouting information, because it tells him that, especially given that he's actually seen, he hasn't seen any gas, but this time in the game, it tells him that there has been gas spent on something else, and it tells him that there's likely going to be some kind of roach or Hydra-based composition, something that doesn't involve Zerglings, because if you're getting Zerglings, you build Zergling speed, because, I mean, duh. So, pretty important scout of something not being there for noobPride. The Viking also has been wandering around hunting overlords completely unsuccessfully so far. 0 kills on that Viking, so not the best job, but I mean, I think that's because Kommatiazo has all his overlords save 1 just sitting in his base, which is, I mean, not ideal, though it has saved him from the Viking. Double Hellbat drop coming out here. It's gonna get a nice angle into the 3rd base. Could also swing around to the natural. So yeah, we'll see how much damage that does pretty soon. noobPride taking his 3rd base at the same time, and he's starting producing a lot of Hellbats, a lot of Marauders, and I'm not sure how I feel about this, because we've seen that when Kommatiazo does this style, he likes to go transition into Stormhost a little bit later on, and Hellbats are really bad versus Stormhost. Well, Hellbats aren't even that good versus Roach Hydra. Hellbats are good versus Lingblade Muta, good to kill lots of Lings and soak up Baneling hits, but Hellbats are also good for Harass, and that's what we see here in the natural. It looks like a couple of them are going to go down to this Spine Crawler. He can back up out of range, he could boost away and sort of sit threatening the natural and the 3rd base. He did force a lot of lost mining time. It looks like he's going to come back in. I think he was trying to catch a transfer back from the... Oh! One of the Medevacs is going to go down with 2 Hellbats in it. So that's a really nice pick-off. Good job, that queen. Still only counts as 1 kill, but... Oh, Baneling's nest coming in is interesting. Because I wouldn't have thought he needed the Baneling nest with Roach Hydra, unless he's going for like a 3-base Roach Bane bust, which we have seen before. Not out of him, but it's a thing. I don't know. It looks like he's just going into Roach Hydra as well, because he's getting his Hydra Den up. Infestation Pit as well, so he can mix in Infestors, Hive for 3/3 and the Vipers. Hellbat drop we see here coming into the main. All the probes stack up a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. A lot of the lava are being taken out. Oh, big drop onto all of these probes, but unfortunately the auto-targeting goes directly for the queen. And I mean, nothing that much got done there, but here the one Hellbat just doesn't really kill things quickly enough, especially not when it's auto-targeting onto the queen. But the Medevac getting taken out is really nice. Medevacs are expensive, 100. Although he's going to trade it for this queen, and there's 3 queens on the map now, which isn't... Oh, 2 queens on the map, and yeah, these Hellbats are still going on the main. They came back in after Kommatiazo got pulled away, and now they're roasting and toasting away a lot of different, a lot of probes, or drones even. They're not going to get any more though, as they do get cleaned up by a couple of Roaches and Hydras. And also, fairly importantly, this gave noobPride a little bit of a chance to scout what he saw out of his opponent. The problem is he hasn't actually seen this the Infestation Pit or this Hive, which is upgrading. So yeah, I mean, he's done some good damage at the main and natural, and got some good scouting there, but nothing much other than that, which is a little shame. Still though, I feel like Oh, pardon me. I feel like both players are in a pretty decent position, but noobPride has by far the superior armor currently. If Kommatiazo can get out his swarm host, push them out onto the map, push out his creep spread, so he needs to be so much better than this right now, and that's partly been caused by noobPride picking off all those queens. But yeah, I don't know. Both players are in okay positions, but I think noobPride is a little bit ahead if I had to pick. noobPride's going to be steering forwards here. The Viking gets picked off, but who cares? And now, yeah, there's really very little army here for Kommatiazo. He's been trying to get swarm hosts up, but it's difficult to do that without finding a safe space, making a safe space for yourself by taking a big engagement and crushing it. And now noobPride's got this nice little area set up on creep, and Kommatiazo has to kind of decide where he wants to defend. His fourth base and his third base are both vulnerable from this location, especially now the siege tank's up. It's just going to be slowly picking away at that extractor. noobPride could even, once he's taken out, move the siege tank further up, so it's right next to the wall end. Right next to the cliff, and fire up on the whole base from there. But noobPride's actually stepping forward, picks up queen, trying to get down this extraction. He can kill that off, and yeah, now Kommatiazo is kiting away from the queens. A lot of the lings are pretty much useless. Once the banelings come in, it's going to be a lot easier to take fights against the spy. It's going to have to run, stim run away, and the banes come in. But actually, without speed, it should be pretty easy for noobPride to split. But I guess he just decides not to. He's got a lot of marauders in this army though, so the siege tanks don't the banelings don't actually matter that much. And yeah, noobPride, that siege tank is doing so much work. It will finally get focused down, but brilliant bait for the Widowmine, because almost all those lings have been taken out. However, Kommatiazo, his Roach Hydra, are going to clean up all of the Widowmines. Lings are just about... the Roach is going to finish off the siege tank. And yeah, noobPride has been routed. Needs to catch his reinforcements. More reinforcements coming in. The Widowmine doesn't go off, and I think that's a little bit of a daring siege tank, but it might do it. And yeah, it helps noobPride just stop Kommatiazo going any distance off creep, really. But at the end of that, a lot of talking done, and Kommatiazo starts his +3 upgrades, and noobPride starts +3 +2. So again, double upgrades after the single attack, and this will allow noobPride to scale really, really well, really hard into later on in the game, especially against the fast fire rate of Hydralisks, and just doing a lot of damage against those roaches with marauders, which of course get +2 damage to roaches per upgrade. And yeah, noobPride moving forward. The tank gets focused down pretty much immediately, and Kommatiazo this time I think has more than enough Roach Hydras to crush this army and start getting up his... Actually, he goes for Vipers first. I don't think this is the worst decision. I think it's fine. Either one is okay. The Vipers are going to be really, really great against the siege tanks. They can blinding cloud them, or just abduct them into the big Roach Hydra army. So yeah, it's okay. Of course, swarm hosts do get taken out by siege. The locusts get driven back pretty well by siege tanks. So going swarm hosts into siege tanks is not always the best idea. But Kommatiazo is actually rolling forwards here. Siege up by noobPride. Both the tanks are going to siege up before they barely get shot off. And Kommatiazo just keeps on going forward, rolling with those banelings and waddling with the roaches. Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of marauders in this army and not very much in the way of marines, so the banelings aren't going to be super effective, but I mean the Hydralisks are going to be doing so much damage here, and I don't know, these marauders, they've got a lot of damage. All the roaches are dead, so now it's just Hydralisks, and the Hydralisks don't really have the tanking to survive even this level of Terran Bio, so they're going to have to back off. But marauders being a little faster and having concussive shell, really, really well able to chase. And now noobPride is actually going towards taking a 5th base, and that is the first time noobPride's been up bases on Kommatiazo this game. And he's been trading really well, doing really well when he hasn't been on up bases. Also, really, really well done by noobPride. He's cleaned up the creep spread so well by Kommatiazo. And Kommatiazo has this single queen, which I think is currently sharing dual duty as an inject queen as well. So she's likely only going to plonk down 1 or 2 creep tumors. A little drop as well came into the 4th base, but gets pushed away into the main. Yeah, this queen is likely to drop 1 or 2 creep tumors, and then they're going to have to spread from there, which is going to really hamper Kommatiazo's creep threat. And creep threat is so important with the locusts, and so important for Terran versus Zerg, where mobility is, I think, possibly the most important out of any matchup. Being able to outmaneuver the other player. But the creep spreading queen goes down as well. Broodlord's coming in though now for noobPride. He doesn't have any answers in currently, so I think he's going to have to back off. But unfortunately not before he actually does lose a fair amount of bio. And yeah, here come the Vikings. noobPride is start producing them from his starport. Great answer to Broodlords. Obviously they're almost as high range. They're just 0.5 range lower than Broodlords. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. But oh wow, good lift on the tank. I think Kommatiazo was checking forward to try and get that down, but Kommatiazo has been doing really well at focusing down tanks, and noobPride's been just as good at spreading them out. But now the Broodlord's coming in, very little in the way of Marines. What there is all dead now, and there's just no answer for these Broodlords. They're slow, but all the friendly splash as well, dealt by Broodlings. That's one of my favourite things about Broodlords. Yum, yum, yum. And now the Terran players hate me. So yeah, Kommatiazo as well. He's got full. Whoa! Sorry, I'm not my drink. Oh, a big drop onto the Broodlords. It's gonna get really well cleaned up by these hide lists. A couple of medevacs actually went down before they even managed to land, and that was, I think, a big misstep by noobPride. I don't think he saw all these hide lists coming out, and now Kommatiazo has a dominating lead, enormous army supply advantage. The Vipers haven't even done anything yet, but now they're going to pull a tank, blinding cloud a tank, whatever. Do what you want, man. Another tank can be blinding clouded or pulled. He doesn't even need to. All these hide lists, the Broodlords pumping away everything. The tank is spending more time attacking Broodlords and dealing damage to its own units than it is to the hide lists. And yeah, noobPride's 3rd base being broken. That's it.